24, Driving Business.
Hey there, very good morning. Welcome to Smart Man's Business. I'm Anju Barija. Yesterday is the 10th of June, of course, the second day of the week. Definitely, as we keep driving your business. I remember this is a budget week and the budget month at the same time. Tomorrow, when the budget is going to be officially read. Yes, like I always say, like I've always been saying, there have been lots of anticipations, that is from the different stakeholders on what they really think the funds should be allocated depending on what the demand is at the time that is within the country Uganda. Well, quite lots of conversations that are going to be coming up as a result here, but before we get there, don't forget the markets on the Zabo platform, which will be opening anytime soon from now. And for you to be a part of them, you simply just have to start tonight to hash where you'll be availed with quite lots of options, and you'll be able to buy government bonds and securities for as little as 15,000 Ugandan shillings, 8:15 a.m. till 3:15 p.m. West African time, and this is effective Monday up to Friday, except on the weekends and the public holidays when the markets are inaccessible. But at least you have the rest of the 5 days to capitalize and make yourself quite some huge profits, something which I believe is quite very instrumental when it comes to enhancing profitability and also improving your personality as an individual. So Zab made this a reality. There is no excuse as to why I shouldn't own government bonds and securities. Now Zab simply says, my money, my future. And the Autox East Africa says, do something new. Well, just right about now, as we get straight into our morning call, probably there is something that you didn't know, that if you pay attention to it, it is something that you get to appreciate the aspect of hard work and commitment on certain aspects. Now, in our morning call today, we're looking at how much money does government lose when projects are delayed. You know, talking about an instance where companies are given these contracts and they're supposed to accomplish a certain aspect, and this takes quite a longer time to execute. But remember, the longer it takes, the businesses which could have benefited from that particular project are affected, and production is affected in the long run, which delays output in the long run. Remember, as a result of those businesses affected, money is being lost. And now here, according to reports here, it says that government loses 2 trillion shillings in project delays. So whenever projects are not executed on time, the chances are high that government is going to lose quite lots and huge amounts of money. Now, government registers close to 2 trillion Ugandan shillings loss annually in delayed project implementation. That is due to poor designs, escalations, contract disputes, abandonment. There is overruns on substandard quality of some completed projects. Remember, once the project is not executed to the maximum, you're going to find that by the end it's done, you have to again invest some more money, because there are going to be some sort of loopholes into the project, and those loopholes have to be covered, and that's an extra expense, you know. Now, State Finance Minister for Planning and Economic Monitoring, that is Amos Golobi, who revealed that is a heavy loss, noted that the implications have been huge in the economy, that is with a negative effect on the gross domestic product due to loss of unemployment and low return on investment. Now, of course, now these are statements that he made on his own, where he said that for a number of these projects, we have borrowed money, and the more you delay, that is to deliver, the more interest you actually pay. Now, he said, noting that there is a lot of fiscal space that is lost. There is a lot of fiscal place lost in budgets with delayed projects, filling up space which would have otherwise been used for, you know, some other new projects. You know, the money you spend on this project, you know, trying to cater for the loopholes and all this, you could have spent it to restart another project which can also complement this project, and at the end of the day, economic growth and development is inevitable. Now, Mr. Lugolobi explained that the money lost has been from both domestic and externally funded projects, especially roads and power transmission. Now, such delays in power transmission from dams have caused government, that is to fork out, that's about 80 million US dollars on deemed energy, which is power generated but cannot be consumed. That is for lack of transmission lines in a country, of course, suffering with power deficits in some areas. And of course, an example is cited at the Mirama Hills Power Transmission Project, which is meant to deliver electricity, that is to Rwanda, but has been delayed. You know, it's one of the examples that have been cited out for the delayed projects. And of course, last time, according to the report about the Parliament's Budget Committee listed that about half of 69 flagship government projects were behind schedule, and the most notable included the Kampala-Jinja Expressway. Then there is the rehabilitation of the meter gauge railway and the East Africa crude pipeline and oil refinery that is in Hoima, and so many of those. And well, money is lost as a result of not executing the projects according to the required time. That is requested from the very beginning when you're signing this project contract. So that is something to look into as project implementers and those people that have plans probably to one day, one time bid for a contract to make sure that you can execute something. Time is quite very important. Well, that is it for our morning call, and right about now let's get into our press as we take a look what's making headlines in there. Well, of course, with the press, I have the New Vision and the Daily Monitor with me here. But of course, I'm going to start with the Daily Monitor. Well, here, according to the top page here, we see that students must be given milk. Of course, government orders again. Well, it's back again. And it's been quite some months ever since, this aspect was really ongoing about encouraging children to take milk in schools. Of course, it's very essential to brain development, which can enhance creativity of these children. So the younger it's done, well, it will be much more or better from that. Now, of course, police recover gun used in killing of paralegal in the city. And of course, still further, more men seeking DNA tests for children. So we'll be checking out more of that. All this is on the top page of the Daily Monitor. And now let's, of course, break through this as we take a look at what's really making headlines here. Of course, further here we see Kampala Fields Boys to Men Rise. Yes, Boys to Men Rise. Of course, the concert that the Sunday evening concert that took place at the Kololo ceremonial grounds. You may want to know what really transpired and how were people impacted. Well, you can check out more details of that as you get yourself a copy. That is of the Daily Monitor. And of course, Uganda stuck with 23 million liters of milk. That is for export. That is according to what we are observing here. But you can get further details of this from your copy of the New Vision. The Dairy Development Authority, of course, has revealed that milk processors in the country stuck with more than 20 million liters of milk because Kenya limited importation. Now the milk processors are stuck with 24 million of milk, of course, currently from that. So you'll be getting out more details when you get yourself a copy. Now, Uganda, China in a 44 billion project to boost agriculture. Of course, more than 9,500 farmers, that is across tropical country, are expected to benefit. That is from the various activities, and that will be implemented within a space of just 3 years. Something so remarkable here. And we see further, China assures Uganda of support amid a Western aid cut rate. Well, what does that mean? seeing the aspect of the Eastern Bloc having a certain degree of dominancy in African politics and economics at the same time. I don't know how the Western powers will be looking into that, because the Western Bloc doesn't seem to be one kind that can really settle into that. And anyway, let us see. China assuring Uganda support, and definitely once China is on board, and expect Russia to also be available to offer some sort of foreign aid. Now, Uganda, still further here in the Daily Monitor, Uganda sets 25% on tariff. That is sets 25% tariff on imported refined sugar. And definitely you'll be finding out more of those stories. Well, right about now I'm joined with Joram Paul Sonko, as we are going to be of course having an overview of what is happening around within the country, but of course getting our inspiration from the press at this particular hour. This morning.
Well, good morning. Tuesdays normally cool morning as well. When you come to think of it, it's also about literally getting into the mood of the week and fully fitting in. And the New Vision this morning is highlighting of the Northern Bypass robberies. Over 100 have been arrested. There's a very huge concern in regards to people who use the Northern Bypass. Not only that, even those who use the Southern Bypass in relation to the security matters, one of which includes the fact that at times those who move in late, starting from 8 o'clock in the night till around midnight, it is not safe and secure, but the IGP has ordered for permanent night deployment in regards to the same, and so maybe then this crime rate will be decreasing according to what the New Vision is highlighting. And then also still in regards to the police and killings as well as robberies, Kampala lawyer who was killed over 3.7 billion deal, according to what police has found out, and they are suspected killers of the Kampala lawyer Ronnie Mukisa and the gun that was used to have that was used in the mission. And then surprisingly, the assailants who used or who are able to execute this assassination got their arms from a police officer who was also arrested in relation to that. All these were updates that were given out yesterday at the Uganda Police Headquarters in Naguru. So the Northern Bypass robberies and of course all the other rest is what the New Vision is highlighting for you this morning.
Well, very, very something remarkable there. Of course, it's time to take care of your security. I remember some time on that road, actually, there was one of the spokesperson of the trade agencies survived the robbery from some, serious guys, but he was able to survive. It was quite late in the night. Now, here in the Daily Monitor, we see a local farm wins contract to Tamak Matuga. That is Kapeka Road. Yes, this is a way forward out here of procuring, this is now supporting, in other words, supporting the local farms when it comes to getting contracts, something which has been quite of a great concern when it comes to their sustainability and how best can they get some good money out of that. So you'll be getting out more of the details. What farm is that and how was it able to win this contract? Something to really check into. Now, of course, Ginger City feels brunt of vendors eviction. Yes, vendors eviction. Our residents of the Ginger City are feeling brunt of an ongoing eviction on street vendors and hawkers at the same time. And now, of course, on 17th May, Ginger City Council's enforcement team embarked. That is on an exercise aimed at bringing order to the business community. What do we have next, Jerome, there?
Well, as well as when you come to think of it here, the New Vision is that the SFC has set a timeline for repairing Kampala roads, having been given a directive by the president in regards to making sure that these roads are repaired, and now they've given a deadline to when this will be done. Then also, furthermore, pastors have been told to stop begging from congregation regardless of the poverty that is striking the country, because it does seem like most of the church owners are now using churches as a source of income or as a direct source of income, and they've actually been told not to continue with this particular situation. Now, in regards to issues to do with land, over 250 families survive eviction in Luwero district. Of course, land, when you come to look at land wrangles in Uganda, continue to remain a very huge concern of debate in the country, and how different matters are sealed. You come to think of it, it is really difficult to rule this out according to what is coming in from there. But also regarding innovation and matters to do with technology in the country, Ugandan software engineer Anatoly Chirigwanjo has been nominated for Continental Awards. What is he working on, and what solutions does he provide with what he has been able to work on? All that is in the New Vision this morning. And of course, there is something to do with the office of the Prime Minister in regards to tree planting, bringing hope to Lamuo communities, and how far the people in Lamuo are making sure that they do the tree planting in order to, one, generate income, and then also to address matters dealing with climate change.
All right, now here the Law Society raises the red flag on the Uganda Registration Services Bureau, over when it comes to the registration officers. Now, ULC says that the duties associated with the registration officers require the job holder, that is to have a background in legal training. Of course, you'll be getting out more of that. The Law Society expressing their grievances in regards to that. Now here, unlicensed midwifery schools blamed for high failure rates. Now, unlicensed midwifery teaching institutions are being blamed for high number of students failing exams. Yes, unlicensed midwifery. So licensing, quite a very key aspect. And also something very interesting for the farmers out there here. We see that Ugandans actually are cashing in high on what we call the Hass avocado. Now, this has been termed as the green gold. Now, with longer shelf life, Hass avocado can be transported, that is via the sea, which seems it can open up more opportunities, that is for farmers to do mass production in Uganda, something which is quite a great opportunity. That is for you, a farmer out there. Hass avocado, green gold. I mean, exploring opportunities. Sometimes we could be saying, what can I do? What's that thing? Every person has that question on mind, most especially in that sector that you're dealing in. You're saying, what can I invest in? I have this amount of money. Where should I put it? So you can try out the Hass avocado.
Well, of course, as we continue looking deeper into understanding how mornings get kick-started off here on Smart Means Business, takes us back to what was in our morning call in regards to government losing 2 trillion in project delays. Now, this very concern here was highlighted according to how Andrew has been stating it out here in the morning, if you come to think of it. And as we're heading into the next financial year, tomorrow the national budget will be presented to the Ugandans, and one of which you get to realize that for the Ugandan people out there who will be following up the incidents in the national budget, you would wish to at least understand what and how far we get into such scenarios, because according to some of the key highlights here, such delays in most of the projects, for example in power transmission from dams, have caused government to fork out at least $80 million. That is approximately 297 billion shillings on deemed energy. That means government is actually incurring multiple costs in relation to making sure that these projects are fully implemented. Now, the more a project is delayed, takes us back to what the New Vision has highlighted as well here this morning in relation to the SFC setting a timeline for repairing Kampala roads. Why the SFC was given this particular project is because those who are in charge of repairing these roads or maintenance delayed, and not only that, also the funds delayed to reach the respected people who are supposed to take charge of the same. But of course, there are quite a number of highlights in regards to what we need to know about what happens when most of the projects that delay take long to happen. Now, besides 2 trillion Ugandan shillings being lost in such project delays, you get to realize that we definitely lose as an economy as we continue to get this more and more details. But also, the proponents of capacity building say it should largely focus on the pre-investment phase of their project cycle, which further evaluates projects' viability prior to admission into the public investment. So that's a very huge concern in relation to that. And of course, the Ministry of Finance, Planning and Economic Development further reveals that this is damaging or hurting our economy. Not until we learn to implement things fully and in their due course, it will be affecting us in the long run still.
Absolutely right, Jerome, on that. Lots of money, because 2 trillion is quite a lot of money, that is lost. That is a certain amount, because if you're to weigh down our budget, assuming it's 52 trillion, so about 50 trillion just spent on, lost just like that. It's something that it might seem a little bit little, but it has long-term implications when it comes to service delivery. But above all, when it comes to the household income earners right there that really do their best, that pay their taxes to make sure that most of these services are available to them in the right time. And that hinders economic progress, because the economy, like it or not, is run by the citizens. And we are talking about a citizen who is down there in the ghettos, and they're trying to survive on a daily basis. But of course, they are paying for the sins of the people that misuse the money, or that delayed to implement projects that are going to be beneficial when it comes to their personal growth and development. Well, now let's get into a break. It's 25 minutes past 7. And definitely when we return, we shall be taking a look at what's happening around East Africa and the international community. But before we get there, don't forget the markets on the Zabu platform, which will be opening at exactly 8:15 a.m. today. Yes, 8:15 a.m. till 3:15 p.m. And it's effective Monday up to Friday. But the ultimate question could be, what can I do to be a part of this? Well, it's very simple. Just there, *292#. That's the USSD code, which will avail you with quite lots of those options, while you will be able to buy government bonds and securities for as little as 15,000 Ugandan shillings. Now, this is effective Monday up to Friday. Yes, there is no excuse. Zabo make this a reality. You can now own a government bond and security as easy as that. There is no paperwork that is involved. Gone are the days of making those long lines, the bureaucracy and all that. Zabo just simplified everything for you. Now, Zabo simply says, my money, my future. And the Old East Africa says, do something new. Well, now let's get into the break. And definitely we shall be returning with further related business discussions. Good morning.